Let's now get to other stories. A prison service officer has sustained a gunshot wound after a clash between prison service officers and military personnel Wednesday afternoon in Bawuku in the Upper East region. Details of the cause of the clash are still sketchy as the Regional and Municipal Security Council have remained silent on the matter. But some Joy News sources in Bawuku said the military officers were angered after the prisons officers protected some civilians who sought refuge with the prisons officers after the military pursued them. The two civilians are said to have been a nuisance at a function at the Bawuku Chief's Palace, and when the military pursued them in order to discipline them, they ran to the prisons to seek refuge. The military officers then demanded that the prisons officers release the civilians to them, an order which the prisons officers were reluctant to obey, and misunderstanding ensued. I've been joined by Upper East Region correspondent Albert Story, who has more on this. Albert, what more details do you have about this incident?
Yes, Aisha. So, as you said earlier, the information we have gathered on this are a bit sketchy because the security apparatus have refused to comment on the matter for now. But what we do know is that these two civilians you mentioned were, causing some sort of nuisance when the Bokunaba was inaugurating a committee for his 40th anniversary celebration. And so the army officers tried to, the military officers tried to discipline them, and they ran away. They actually thought that they were not being pursued, but after a while, some of the military personnel pursued them, and they ran into the prison's office. It was at this point that the officers went there and, tried to demand that they release these two civilians for them to discipline them. But from what we understand, the prisons officers were also trying to plead with the military to leave them once they have realized their mistake, and they were pleading with them. But after a while, it just sort of degenerated into a misunderstanding between the military officers who had gone to the prisons, and there was some sort of scuffle. And after a while, the military officers left the scene and later returned with more of their personnel, and then there was chaos. We are told that even police officers came to the scene and tried to intervene, but the prisons officers and then the military officers would not listen, and it was a sort of exchange of fisticuffs. It was complete chaos, very close to the prison's forecourt. And it was in this process that a gun was fired, and the prison's officer that talked about sustained the injury, and he's currently receiving treatment in the hospital. But one more thing I should add, Aisha, is that some people also say that there was an earlier scuffle between one prison's officer and then another military officer some time ago, which resulted in some of the prison's officers, beating up the military officers some time back. And so there seems to be some sort of old feud between them, which just sort of also escalated because of yesterday's incident. But as I said, as we speak, the regional minister and the municipal chief executive for Bawuku have not commented on the matter for now. So we do not know the exact details of how this whole thing started and where it is going from there.
What's the mood in the area this morning?
Well, there hasn't been any problem. Normally in Bawuku, when people are shot because of the conflict, then there is some sort of tension in the air. But in this case, it's between military officers. So people are talking about it, but then they are moving about their everyday activity. There hasn't been any sort of disruption to daily life in Bawuku, and so everything is calm at the moment. What we do not know is how the the security hierarchy in terms of the leadership are going to handle this matter. Because if they report that there is an old feud between these two factions is still there, chances are that this thing is not going to end. And so these are the things that people are talking about. And some people are even worried that, the security people who should be protecting the civilians are themselves engaging in this sort of thing. So that's what is happening in Bawuku.
Albert, sorry, it's our correspondent at the Upper East region. We'll definitely bring you more of this in our subsequent bulletins as it unfolds. We'll take a break on Journey's Desk. When we return, this business.